Hey guys, this is Marc Goldberg from Marc Vlogs Watches, and you have caught me in my secret garden here at the little dog farm. Guys, every watch has a fatal flaw, am I right? You know, that one thing that just makes it less than perfect? And I think the possible exception to the rule of that is the Rolex Submariner. I really haven't found its fatal flaw other than the fact that it's damn near unobtainable. So of course that would be the flaw. But I'm talking about some specification or engineering issue within the watch itself, and I just can't find the fatal flaw. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of this set of flaws, issues, and picayune problems, let's get the quick fist watch check out of the way, and here it is. Guys, I'm working hard to be one of your favorite YouTubers. Thanks for being with me. Please join, like, subscribe, lick the like button, do everything that it takes to stay in touch with my dive watch channel. Actually, it's just a watch channel, but you know, diver's kind of my thing. Today, I am wearing the Omega Seamaster Professional SMP 42mm 2018 edition. And today I want to talk to you about the fatal flaw of this watch. And you're looking at it right here. Now, first, what's good about this watch? Let's start about what's good. What's good is not only good, it's amazing. Like, look at the dial. Look how the light plays with the dial. You know, I don't think pictures do this justice, because I thought that, you know, when I saw pictures of this watch and even videos of it, I didn't think I would just completely love it the way I do, because I don't like the wart, which is the helium escape valve. You know, I'm not crazy about that. But these laser cut waves into the ceramic dial, and for me, this chrome colored dial being my favorite, creates such play of light that I find the watch, you know, completely mesmerizing. It's actually a kind of a classic and simple design, if you will, with the date down there at 6. Simple hour markers, raised, loomed, well loomed. And then in the double hash mark for the 12 o'clock position, you know, it's a fairly classic design, wakened up with those laser cut movements. But gosh, there's just so much that happens when you move around in the light. I'm just trying to show you different angles of this, that the watch is almost busy. I find it entertaining and interesting. Okay. Well, and by the way, that actually makes it kind of flashy. Now, that may be a fatal flaw for you, but not so much for me. So I have one minor complaint and one major complaint. Let's start with the minor one, that loom pip. It's actually kind of small. Now, here's the irony, guys. There was a fellow in one of the videos that I've already made about this watch who made a comment that he didn't like it because the loom pip was too small. And I kind of, you know, and I was like a smart ass to him in the comments section, and then I think maybe in another video that I made, I went ahead and, you know, and I mentioned it and I made a little fun of him. Sir, whoever you are, I am heartily sorry. You were entirely right. You know, you were right. And the reason that I say this is because, you know, like if you want to wear your watch at night, you know, maybe to sleep or somewhere, you know, where you're going to be in the dark for a really long time, there are a couple of things that help you to orient the watch to the 12 o'clock position. And, you know, psychologically, one of those is the double hash mark at 12, and the other is the loom pip, especially if you want to time something at night, like in the movies, or I don't know why you would want to do that. For me, it's not uncommon to, you know, like time how long the movie's been going on. I'm just probably pay more attention to my watch, you know, than half the movies. So the loom pip is a little bit on the small side, and so there is that. Now, I actually do think that would affect you if you were diving with this watch. This is a dive watch. It's supposed to perform a function. I mean, look, it's specified down to 300 meters of depth. So, I mean, that's like 1,000 feet. So it has the technical specifications of a dive watch. And in fact, it has the helium escape valve, which is only useful if you're a saturation diver and you have to decompress in a diving bell with rare gas mixture. I mean, that's the only thing that stupid little wart is for. So basically, the helium escape valve on every watch is just an homage to the 60s when people used to use diving bells and needed diving watches, because today they use dive computers. 0 people are diving in this watch. 0. But guys, hey, Omega, if you're going to create a dive watch and you're going to go to the trouble of putting a helium escape valve on there, there's a couple of small problems with this watch. One, you should put a lume pip that would be visible underwater, you know, in the dark, inky abyss. That's one thing. The other thing is these hands. Now, in the daylight, they're just absolutely gorgeous. These are skeletonized hands. And at some point, I'll tell you what, at the end of this video, at the end of this rant and complaint, I'll go ahead and put some lume pictures of this watch so I can kind of illustrate a little bit what I'm talking about here. But the watch certainly is beautiful, and by day, it's entirely legible. Now, you will see that the hands are skeletonized, and you may not be able to make it out here, but they are actually lumed at the very tip of the hand, but also along the sides. You can see it especially right now on the minute hand. And in fact, the minute hand is lumed in green, whereas everything else is lumed in blue. And in theory, that is supposed to help you track the passage of minutes easier when you're using your diving bezel underwater, except for you're not going to be able to see your lume pip underwater. And frankly, you're going to lose track of those hands because it's a good lume. I think it's super luminova, but it's such tiny little smatterings, such tiny little lines of lume on those skeleton hands where there is, you know, no hole, where there's metal along the edges of those hands, that it fades out very quickly. Can you see the tips of the hands? Kinda, yeah, you can, but it is very easy to get those lost among the hour markers, which are also, you know, round. So, I mean, I know the tips of the hands are not quite round, at least the minute hand is not. It's triangular, whereas the hour hand is round. But let me tell you something, as a practical matter, it is very easy to read the lume for the first couple of minutes, but as it begins to fade, it becomes impossible. And so I actually think if you try to dive in this watch, you're gonna die, sucker, you're gonna die. So this is a fun, sporty watch that you can dress up, you can dress down. I'm just extremely annoyed by the fact that they would put a helium escape valve to preserve the diving integrity and history of the watch, and then go ahead and basically make it so that every other element of the watch would kill you underwater. That is just stupid, crazy, insane, which is probably one of the reasons that I love this watch, because I'm a little crazy and insane myself. When the lume is fresh, like it is in this shot, you actually can read everything, including the hands, quite easily. But notice, due to the skeletonized hands, you just have those very thin strips of lume along the edge, but you have a well-lumed tip of each hand. Now, it's hard to see in this particular photo, but in real life, it's very easy to notice that the minute hand is lumed in green, whereas everything else is lumed in blue, and therefore, theoretically, it makes it fairly easy to track the movement of the minute hand. And in this picture, you're seeing a little bit more what the lume looks like as it fades out, and now all of a sudden, this watch is very hard to read at a glance. Unlike a Submariner, where the hands are lumed entirely because they are solid rather than skeletonized. Here, it's very easy to lose the track of where the minute and the hour hands are. They just sort of get lost among the hour plots. And of course, the lume pip is so tiny that it's almost gone at this point. This is a fatal flaw for a dive watch. Thanks for being with me, guys. And with this rant, I thee wed Goldberg. Peace out.
Paint the sky.